Hi everyone, I'm Sarthak Rodki and I'm currently working as a software engineer at Swiggy and I'm creating yet another reminder app. You might ask, why another reminder app? There are tons of professional reminder apps already present, and almost every programming playlist you can find a reminder or to-do app in their playlist. So why create another one? And the answer is none of them are practical. Let me explain. I need a reminder app that helps me to be productive during the job. And I've tried a bunch of apps, but none seems to be practical for me. I sometimes have to give timelines of events for a task, or filter tasks completed by a date, or just sometimes want to have the capability of writing custom search or custom SQL or just a custom search capability. And all all the reminder and to do just feels frustrating to use, and I want to create one that I really enjoy working and using, and it is not getting in my way. That's why I'm creating Yara, yet another reminder app. Now the reminder app that I have liked the most yet after using a bunch of them is the default reminder app given to us by Apple. It's fast, snappy, I like UI a lot, no animations, and I'm able to work quickly on it, which is very important since I use it more than I use my ID. So without any delay, let's get into building Yara. Our first order of business is to list down all the things or almost all the things that we need in the application. The feature list is going to contain 1. I should be able to add, remove or update the task. 2. Each task must have a heading, optionally description, created time, custom status, subtask or subpoints, a timestamp for those points, source of the task, reminder to the task or the subtask to be completed, time to complete the task, and category. 3. I should be able to search between those tasks, like a fuzzy search. I also have some soft requirements for the application. 1. The app should be fast and snappy to use, just like the reminder app. It should have an online database, but initially I'll be okay with the local database. 3. It should not get into my way of working. That is very important. 4. The codebase should not span across multiple languages and frameworks. I don't want the hassle to have different code bases just to manage this app. 5. I want the capability of extended to cross-platform. I should be able to view tasks on my phone or on my other devices. Okay, so let's start with the design then. I will use Figma to create a design that I have in my mind, but before that, let's scrape some images off web to get an idea of the types of designs that are currently available. I'm not much of a designer, but seriously, does it look that I can create a beautiful design? Okay, so going through the web, I found some images, but most of them were for mobile apps, and my main priority right now is to create a desktop application and not a phone app. So after doing some more research, I ultimately just gave up on finding the inspiration for this reminder app, and I just got a photo of Apple Reminders app, imported in Figma, and just started my design. While designing, I realized something. There is nothing wrong with the design of a Reminders app. It's just lack of functionality that I miss, but unfortunately there is no way that I can add that functionality myself in the app. So I have to settle down and create my own. I am not opposed of creating a very similar design, so I started the design by taking a blank page, approximately MacBook screen size, and created a section to divide my actual task with the project's menu, categories and search. I quickly created a search bar using rectangle followed by 3 most common search filters that I want to use for search, and of course we will also have fuzzy search in the future as well. After the first section of the sidebar, I began to copy paste the quick glance section of Apple Reminders app and just make it look like 10 times uglier. Post that, I will create project section and list section where we can see all categories under which task will reside, and each will show a count. Apple reminders only have the count for the active ones, but I also want the capability to compare the active task to the total number of tasks available under that project. I will use tag sign to indicate it's selected and maybe a different color on getting selected. At the end of the sidebar, I want to have my name written on it. Why? I don't know. Maybe someday profile could reside there, but let's just call it profile section for now. Now let's start with the main code section where all the tasks are going to reside and call the area their home. I will copy a lot of elements from Apple Reminders app, but I am going to make some changes. Every task will have a status, a heading or title along with that time at which it was created. This top level task could describe an individual task or just a heading or title for a big task. I want that we are able to create tasks under this task. Either that could be a subtask, or it could be a next step, or it could be just another task under a parent task. I also want the ability to add more optional information, so whenever a task is selected, it will show additional options to choose and set. Currently, I am thinking to add completion time, the type, timeline or individual, priority, and which task this task is linked to. Then I'm going to create some more of these tasks to get a better idea in my mind of how the design is going to look. That is going to help me with the development of these tasks. For another variation, I will also add description to the task, as this is very important. I like the task to be descriptive as possible, because in the future I forget a lot of key details about those tasks, and it's nice to document everything in detail so that it doesn't bother in the future. At the end, I came up with this ugly looking design of Apple Reminders app, but it needs to be functional first and pretty later. Always remember. I feel the design could be better with lot of different fonts, and if I had used guidelines, it would have been better looking. But it's not too bad for me, and we can start with the development as for now. I always believe that engineering is about learning concepts and implementing those concepts. So we have a multiple options to make this app. We could opt for the Objective-C plus Swift UI path, or we can go with something easier like Flutter. Even though I want to opt for the former to have an idea of how these stunning apps are made at ground level, I don't want to stretch this project for too long, and I also want the capability of extending it to the other devices like my phone, and I don't want to write another client. I will go with Flutter. It's easy, predictable, fun to use. You can see the changes instantly, and I've used it few years back during my internship. But I don't remember anything, so let's go into the documentation and read a bit about Flutter. Now it's time to set up and actually start coding. Installing and setting up Flutter is quite easy if you just follow the steps available in the documentation. But if you need help, you can always refer to the ton of YouTube videos available for installing the Flutter. Before we start actual coding, there is one very crucial step that I need to do, and that is to learn about state management. I remember a bit of block and qubit, but I will quickly go through its documentation to get a gist of qubits and blocks. Now we can start to code. Usually it would have taken me a lot of time to code, but I will take help of ChatGPT to ease my pain of coding. I'm not too worried about not being able to learn Flutter because I'm not using this in my day job. I'm not looking for jobs. So using ChatGPT would suffice here. I use the same approach I use for designing. First, the sections which would be resizable. Then I created all the section inside of the left sidebar and then worked on the right sidebar. I will speed up the process and let you watch me code in silence. So this is how it looks after coding. Somehow it looks even worse than design, and it's not even complete. I didn't have enough time to finish the UI, so I just decided to leave it right here with some placeholders. I'm not currently looking into finishing the UI. I can finish that later. But this is the general idea of how the app is going to look and feel. I will make it prettier again if required if I am done with the initial requirements of the app, but till then this is how it's going to look. You can find the latest code available on my GitHub. If you want to see the details of how I have implemented things, it's public. You can fork it, clone it, and build it on your system as well. If you make anything better for me, do create a pull request. I will try to see if it would fit my use case. I will work on actual LLD of the main logic in the next video. So see you then. Bye.